is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail Message by Abdrushin. And every week we have a new topic for discussion. The topic for discussion tonight is, what are we really here for on earth? What are we really here for on earth? You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments. You can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And there's one other way to contact us, which is by going to the website where we are broadcasting. That is Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1.com. There, if you scroll down on the home page, you'll see a box called Bless Chat. You can type in any questions or comments in there. I'm going to begin with, what is the Grail Message? The Grail Message, in the Light of Truth, by Abdrushin, is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life. For through the knowledge mediated, the reader is again brought closer to life and led back to God. The Grail Message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized, and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover through the intuitive perception if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the Grail Message, Abdrushin. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work on himself, or within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the Grail Message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole, without leaving any gaps. Again and again, in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the Grail Message lives so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace, if he earnestly seeks for the truth. So, dear listeners, just to remind you, the topic for discussion tonight is, what are we here? What are we really here for on earth? What are we really here for on earth? If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. If you're outside of UK, it is 00447939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And there's one other way to contact us, which is by going to the website where we are broadcasting. That is Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1.com. There, if you scroll down on the home page, you'll see a box called Bless Chat. You can type in any questions or comments there. Gregory, this time round, I've decided not to look in the dictionary for the meaning of the words of our topic, because it's so simple and easy to follow. There's no need to do that at all. So again, for listeners, to remind you, the topic tonight is, what are we really here for on earth? And some people may be thinking, oh, how come these words have been chosen, or this topic has been chosen? Well, somebody who is a listener sent me a link maybe a couple of weeks ago as a suggestion, and this suggestion was a video, came from a video, which is from basically a Nigerian social media person who was talking about a Nigerian senator. His name is Ifeni Uba, who died suddenly. I think it's just in July, and just suddenly died. I think it's with a heart attack, and he's quite a rich man as well. And I believe he runs an oil. He was into oil as well. So what I would like to do actually is to play that. It's a video, but of course you will only see the audio, or listen to the audio, and then this will spark questions and comments, I'm sure. And just to warn you, the person who's speaking, his English, they can call it pidgin English, I think. Although I would say most of us can understand what he's saying. So without further ado, I'm going to now play this video. And I will summarize it at the end, just so that in case some people are not able to follow. Hello, listeners. It's Saad here from Bless Radio. It appears the link had fallen down with the radio, and I just want to check. Gregory, you're there now?
Yes, I've always been here.
Ah, okay. Somehow I was told that the we lost the connection. Maybe not you and me, but the listeners, they could not hear us. So I was not fully aware of it. I did get a message, and now we've reconnected now. So, listeners, I hope you are listening. It looks like the video that I was playing, I don't know if it interfered with the connection or not. So it looks like, yes, we are definitely back now. What I'm going to do, Gregory, I'm just going to summarize what was in this video rather than replay it. So just to remind listeners, the video was from a social media person, and he was talking about a Nigerian senator that he met only a month ago, before, even less than a month before. He didn't know him, and then he got the news that this senator just died. He's only 52, and it looks like he had a heart attack, and he was visiting London, and just died suddenly. They haven't given us more reasons or information on that, but what the media person was saying is that he only met him a month ago, and the man is obviously rich and well off, and he was buying clothes of 30 million naira already before he met him. And I'm not quite sure what the two of them are going to do together. But anyway, this news was a shock for this social media person to hear that just after less than a month of meeting him. And he started to wonder, what is this life really about? Which is where our topic comes in. What are we really here on this earth for? What is the purpose? And he said, he just was thinking, okay, the man just bought these clothes not less than a month ago. What will happen? He won't be wearing those clothes, obviously. So I know it sounds trivial or funny, but it made him wonder, what is this life really about? And also death. He suddenly has become fearful. This is the social media person. Suddenly become fearful. I'm afraid I don't know his name. The social media person, it's not been given on the video, and the senator, just in case people are wondering, his name is Ifeanyi Uba. So, and he was only 52, as I said. So this is what's happened, but it's led to many questions, about life. Even the media person started to say, one never knows what's going to happen next. So all of these are very valid points the person is asking, and he goes on to say, oh, in life we, go to school and get a job and get married, have children, and so on and so on. Everybody knows these things. But then you never know what's going to happen next. It can all end. So what's the purpose? That's the question behind everything here. Now, if you note, Gregory, everything there is all about earthly life, you can say. So I want to ask, yes, what is this life, this earth life, or life on earth, as people say, really about?
Well, precisely, Earth life is about experiencing. To experience the variations of life on Earth, to interact with others, to experience together with others, which experience is important that experience that enables the individual to have an inkling of the purpose of life itself through the laws of nature, from which laws the individual himself or herself came into existence.
Thank you for this. You started the answer with your explanation is what life is about experiencing, and then um, and you know that word it doesn't give you any, how can I say, goal, or how can I say, set idea as such, if I can say like that. So when people have, in general, have some goals for, uh, like this person was saying, oh, uh, going to school, learning, and getting job, getting married, having children, and buying property, whatever this is in quotes. An earth life is a people think is what it's about, and you have said it's all about experiencing. So that covers everything. Experiencing covers everything, not specific about this one aspect or another aspect, which of course is correct. I mean, you can say that. Um, and then, so is it about any achieving any goals? Because somehow it appears, um, you know, it doesn't, or let's say the expectations people have may of what is experiencing are may not be, how can I say, with different goals. So what sort of goals should we be the experiencing should be about? Let me say that. Or is there not a goal? Yeah, sorry to be so going here and there.
Basically, you will find that many have their expectations. These expectations have come into being through their views, the views which have been built up through interaction with others, or views that have arisen through their life, in which the necessities of life on earth have to be gathered. Because if someone is thirsty, he or she needs to drink water. If someone is hungry, he or she needs to get some food to satisfy that hunger. If someone is unwell in health, that particular person needs to find remedies to ensure that the body, the health of the body is restored. These are the expectations which many have, and they are right expectations, because no one wishes to go about without a drink, since the body needs these drinks, or to go without food, because the body needs the food. So also things like the sleep and a few other things which are expected. These things are for the preservation of the physical body. So these are needs. Also the possibility to stay in a sheltered place and to clothe oneself. All these things are necessary here on earth. Therefore, it is right for the individual to make efforts to ensure that they lack none of these. However, that is not the main goal of the individual journey here on earth. There is more. For the physical body is only a tool that is used for experiencing. The question is, what is it that gathers the experience to mature? The physical body, through its activities, that is brain activities, frontal brain, the back brain, the body and the exercises it needs to go through, and sustenance. These externals that the individual possess, these externals have an impact. These externals are the tools to gather experiences and pass them on, or should pass them on, to the inner core that requires these experiences to mature. Because it is that inner core which is referred to as spirit, which animates the body or makes use of the body. Therefore, the experiences to be gathered are to enrich the inner core, which is of spirit.
Thanks a lot, Gregory, for that answer and what you have explained and given this picture about our life on Earth. The expectations, the goals. It is experiencing, but there's, let's say, as usual in our previous shows, Gregory, you've mentioned the word context. We need to have the context about what is this life about. And so it's not merely the earthly, you could say, eating or feeding or walking or breathing. And that is, let's say, only the outer functions and needs, as you mentioned, that we have to handle. There's also the other, as you mentioned, this physical body is just the outer cloak or layer that we are, as human beings, are experiencing with. There is the inner core, which is the spirit, and that is the one that you could say takes in the real experience. So the experience has to be transferred from the earthly, physical, whatever events that happen, experiences that we have, need to be transferred into our spirit. And it's a two-way communication as well. So if people are wondering if it's only one way. So yes, so we are going to continuing to talk about this further in a moment. I just want to let the listeners know that you're listening to Bless Radio. This is the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail Message by Abdrushin. And if you wish to know more about the Grail Message, you can, or want to buy a copy of the Grail Message, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail Message MESSAGE.com. And the topic that we're discussing tonight is, what are we really here for on Earth? What are we really here for on Earth? If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And there's one other way to contact us, which is by going to the website where we are broadcasting. That is blessradio1, that's the number one.com. And if you scroll down on the homepage there, you'll see a box called Bless Chat. There you can type in any questions or comments. And as I've mentioned, we are broadcasting on blessradio1, the number one.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, again the number one, space, live stream. That's for our live show, which is broadcasting on Tuesday evenings, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. I'm sorry, I had somebody trying to interrupt us. And as I said, we are broadcasting on blessradio.com and also on YouTube. And you can listen to the recording of this show also on YouTube the next day. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number one again, space, Grail Message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is, what are we really here for on Earth? And of course, you can listen to our previous shows, the recordings of our previous shows, also on YouTube. Thirdly, you can listen to us on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. Again, that's the number one there. Gregory, we're talking about experiencing. This is the purpose of life. And I noticed that, well, in your answer, you are not giving all explicitly specific things. You have mentioned, obviously, eating and so on, or drinking, that we need as a physical need, obviously, which is, of course, common to all human beings. But maybe you're trying to be general because you don't want to be specific to each individual, that everybody has to do the same, has the same purpose in terms of, like doing the same job, which obviously that would be very silly for sure, because then other jobs will not be done that need to be done. So obviously I understand that. Now let me ask, there were some other points. Unfortunately our video was not able to play, and I apologize for that, but there were some points this media person in the video was pointing or saying, and because, as I say, the person was, just to repeat in case somebody has missed it, what the video was about. Basically, a rich Nigerian senator has died at the age of 52 with a heart attack, suddenly, unexpectedly. And then this social media person who had actually met him, not only just less than a month before, was in a shock about that, and trying to make sense of what could be the purpose of this, what his life is about. And then he came up with his own, let's say, ideas. and he, you could say, proposed or suggested that it's life. We should be happy in life, um, or do things that makes us happy. So if that means helping other people, that do that. That's if that makes you happy. He even comedically mentioned if you like you want to do crime, do it, but don't get caught. So I think that was all obviously comical. He just thinking that might make somebody happy. So I think he just said that as a joke. But so Gregory, let's get back to be more serious. Is life about being happy and making us happy?
Of course, life is about cultivation of experiences, which experiences in going through these experiences in accordance with the laws of creation, first that permitted you as an individual to come into existence and permitted you the opportunities or the grace to even experience in that context. There seemed to be continuity. It is the returns of these experiences. The returns of these experiences, some of them may be pleasant. When the experiences are pleasant, the individual, or many say the individual, is happy. When the experiences are not that pleasant, the individual becomes moody and very sad. But it is still an experience because subsequently the individual will internalize those experiences which are of value. Therefore, it is the cultivation of experiences which are of value that brings real happiness, not only happiness in the earthly sense, but happiness in the spiritual sense. Because in the first case, in the satisfaction of the earthly demands, the individual is happy. That satisfaction must swing unconditionally in the natural laws. But it doesn't stop there. There is also the happiness that accrue from the activities of the spirit. These activities are expressed as intuitive perceptions or intuitions. If these intuitions in their returns profile so much rich experiences, which experiences may not be pleasant, but they are rich experiences which help the individual to become austere, to become vigilant spiritually, then you will have such an experience is of value to the spirit. Such an experience that enables the individual to become spiritually alert is of value because before long, the individual is able to differentiate that which is of benefit, that is of value, not only in the earthly sense, but also in the spiritual sense. Because before too long, he or she becomes convinced that just as he was born on earth and took on a physical body, he will subsequently lose the use of this physical body because it is temporal. And the experiences it has gathered through the physical body, that is then passed on to the spirit, it's the spiritual human personality. These experiences are beneficial to it because it holds them and learns from them. That is the purpose.
Thanks very much, Gregory, for this answer there. And I noticed you mentioned, yes, being happy is at the purpose of life, but it's not necessarily earthly happiness. It is really spiritual happiness. So that automatically implies, implies and hints that earthly happiness is not necessarily the same as spiritual happiness. So yes, in life, things are a challenge, and it may make you unhappy, maybe initially or maybe even long time. But then when you achieve the goal, then you bring your happiness. So you could keep yourself spiritually happy in a sense, even if the earthly work to get there, it makes it hard and make you not physically earthly happy, give you the earthly happiness, because you can't sort of relax. You have to, work hard. So yes, that makes sense, because you don't get something for nothing. And I think we all know that one. Even if you sometimes see in life, somebody's born into a good position and they automatically seem to have benefits from it. So, of course, all of these things we wonder about, which is fair enough. But then we need to see the big picture, which is the spiritual picture. And that's what, Gregory, you're pointing us to be aware of that. So thank you for that. Now, there was another question from this social media person asking, again, wondering, what is our purpose? And he said, we should fulfill our full potential. Again, it's not defined. So, Gregory, is that part of the purpose, to develop our full potential? And if so, how do we go about that?
It said develop one's full potential. Full potential in what? It did not say. So such are only in the imagination. There is full potential in the earthly. In order to acquire the necessities of the earthly for the continuity of the body, it is necessary to exert oneself physically to ensure what the body needs are provided. There is also that which the spirit needs. That which the spirit needs, which basically are referred to as the talents which have been sown into it. Those skills or those talents need to be cultivated, to its full potential. Only when it is cultivated to its full potential does it become self-conscious. So the potential which is referred to, without thinking deep about it, is the spiritual potential in which that which is of spirit has, through its activities, through its intuition, through its interaction in the world of matter and here on it, has cultivated these talents and tending towards self-consciousness. That and only that, when that has been fulfilled, would one say one has cultivated one's full potential. For that which is earthly is temporal. So unconsciously, such statements are referring to that which is of spirit, which is permanent.
Thanks again, Gregory, for this answer. And again, the picture you're showing to us, we can quite see that there's earthly, you could say, potential, and then there's spiritual potential. The earthly one is all temporal, like you say, and the spiritual is the permanent. And talents is you could say, is what we should be developing. And yes, the question was very general, how do we develop our full potential? But what do we mean by this potential? So talents is what we are referring to here for spiritual value that we want for our, which is what we're going to be using. If you think about it, our life is not purely earthly. There is the spiritual aspect that must be considered in everything. So we're going to keep looking at this further in our discussion. Now, Gregory, in fact, before I do that, let me, we know there has been sort of news in the last day or two, last 2 days, really, 24 hours. There's a British tech tycoon, they're calling him, Mike Lynch. He was celebrating in a yacht off the coast of Sicily in Italy with his family and other guests. And unfortunately, there was a tornado which seems to have, sunk the yacht, which is a very big yacht. And it was a bit shocking at least 6 people are missing from the yacht. I think there were 15 others. I can't remember if there were 15 altogether or 15 others, but they were rescued, the rest of them. Even there was a baby there, a mom and her baby, and they got rescued. So these were quite well-off people. And the incredible thing was, what are they celebrating? Apparently, they were celebrating this man, Mike Lynch, winning a court case. And then this tragedy has followed. And the incredible connection with this tragedy is that only on Saturday, just a few days ago, his co-accused was also in the fraud case. It was a fraud case. He was also acquitted, and then he has been, that other co-accused got killed in an accident where he was hit by a car while jogging. That was in UK. So this is suddenly become a big news in the UK. And again, you start wondering, that's how can this happen, and what is, maybe something is behind it, you know. We just talked about what fulfilling our potential. So people think, oh, we should live till whatever ripe old age, 80 or 90, whatever people think, healthy and so on. And of course, we know there are many other people suffering diseases, and even the, like, some children or baby, they just die very soon. So you start wondering. And even with this video that I was talking about, there's a fear of death. Um, that I didn't sort of fulfill my life, and I got killed off before fulfilling. So all these questions are coming up. Um, um, so let me. I mean, the thing. This video led to so many points, and I'm just trying to go slowly through them, so that we can explore. What am I really here for on this earth? So, Greg, this fear of death. Should one fear death? And, why do people fear death?
Sorry, there's so much background noise.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'll just repeat the question, and if you don't hear it, tell me. So I just want to say, Gregory, many people fear death. And why do they fear that, and should they fear it?
It is understandable why many have a fear of so-called death, because many have that strong impression that there is accountability. Many, like you rightly just mentioned, saying, oh, I wish to develop my full potential, but they never considered that the development of that full potential only refers to that of the spirit, developing the talents which have been sown into it. Because most of the time, many are unable to perceive the impression that have arisen through their intuitions. Therefore, because they have not been engaging as such with their intuitions, the lessons which needed to be learned to help in the development of self-consciousness, or to help in the development towards self-consciousness, that has been completely ignored whilst they were engrossed in the accumulations of earthly material advantages and riches. So they have become so physically engaged and rich, but in spirit, they are worse than paupers. They are deficient in spirit, and in that case, deep within, that fear arises. The fear that has arisen due to the neglect of the cultivation of full potential that leads to self-consciousness. That is why in the back of their minds, and here one is referred to the back of their minds. That is where the intuition hits the back brain. At the back of their mind, there is the worry. For if initially they have been engaged fully with their personal intuitions, that bridge which had been destroyed due to neglect would have been well established. Then things would have been so well moderated in their lives. For subsequently, that which is referred to as one for all and all for one, many will come to understand that that expression only means complementarity, and life will be lived to the full, will be filled with joy. For in the support of others, not only through so-called money, but in the respect that the human personality, meets out to others, he himself or herself will receive in the same measure that respect. In that which the human spirit has received and has made use of it, and above all has shared, just as he himself or herself is engaged in such an activity, so are others who are more matured than himself or herself engaged in the activities to mediate to him or her. In such a case, the human personality will be happy not only in the earthly sense, but also in the spiritual sense. And before long, it will be longing forward to rise and go back home to its eternal home, because it then realizes with gratitude that it has only been permitted to experience, and that grace that permitted it to experience, that power must have been streaming out of somewhere. Gratitude automatically wells up for the grace, for the opportunities that has been granted it. Then that fear, the sting of death, vanishes.
Thank you, Gregory, for this again. This answer and picture again you have shown us about the fear of death or unnecessary fear of death. Because when you recognize what life is really about, not just this earth life, which we are very prone to limit our view to, as if everything's on earth and that's it. No, there is more. And as you say, if we listen to our intuition, we'll be open to see that. All these questions that the person in this video is asking about life, what's the purpose of life, they are limiting themselves to the confines of the earthly life. And then when suddenly, in quotes, Earth life ends, that seems to be the end. And that is the purpose is limited to this one Earth life. So that's where, which is not the reality. Life continues. And why it continues is the spirit is the one that is alive, and that is what is continues to live, not the body. So it's clear these misconceptions and let's say the general public understanding or ignorance even is ruling the world, and so people are having fear which is not based on reality. Um, it really is time to wake up and realize what this life, real life, is about. And maybe these events are to open us up to see that, you know, to come to become conscious rather than sleep. You know, these events seem to be having make people think about life. So yes, I'm going to ask some more questions in a moment, Gregory. But before I do that, I want to let the listeners know this is Bless Radio, and it is the spiritual discussion program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail Message by Upgrushin. And if you wish to know more about the Grail Message or want to get a copy of the Grail Message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. And the topic we are discussing on this show tonight is, what are we really here for on earth? What are we really here for on earth? If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And there's one other way to contact us, which is by going to the website where we are broadcasting. That is Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1.com. There, if you go down on the home page, you will see a box called Bless Chat. You can type in any questions or comments there. And as I mentioned, we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1 again, space live stream. That's where you can listen to the live show, which is on Tuesday evenings, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. You can also listen to the recording of this show also on YouTube on the next day. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1 again, space Grail Message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is, why are we really here on earth? And of course, you can listen to the recording of our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1 there again. Now, Gregory, you know, we just talked about death, and you know, and people wondering. Well, we talked about the fear of death and so on, which is, it's all strange, really, when you think about it, because if people really do question their life properly, when there's a birth, that is natural, and when there's a death, let's say in most cases that is natural, and yet, even though the birth is natural and we are happy about it and celebrate, when there's a death, we become sad if it's natural, let's say. Of course, if it's a sudden death, unexpected death, then people are in shock, and which is understandable. And obviously they miss the person to die. So, well, they miss the person in both cases, but just it's more hurtful, you can say. And yet, the point I'm saying is this is meant natural. If it's, let's say, a normal, not unexpected. Well, I will say even the natural death can be unexpected for many people. So it's you can't sort of use that word too much. But the word is natural is what I want to focus on, and and Gregory, when we talk about in this show, we talk about the laws of nature, which of course are natural, and we came through nature, and when we die, it is nature that is, you could say, involved in that. And also, you've mentioned earlier that this earthly world is temporal, so there's no escape about death. It has to be there. So all these things, Gregory, you can call them facts, but somehow people don't seem to be able to tolerate. I don't know if it's tolerate, but seem to live with these facts. So, is there something wrong in our attitude, Gregory, in life, which doesn't allow us to see the reality, or to accept the reality? Let me say.
Of course, there is something that is not right. And that which is not right is the voluntary spiritual indolence. That indolence in which the human personality does not wish to investigate with his or her intuitions, or even with her thoughts or his thoughts. And to a limited extent, whilst here on earth, to investigate in deeds. You just find many are only too happy to do nothing, and yet they expect to receive everything. So that in itself is a violation of the law of creation, which is that motion is a law in creation. There must be motion of the physical body in deeds. There must be motion in thoughts, and there must be perpetual motion in one's intuition, such that the motion of the spirit, which generates the intuitive perception, this intuitive perception must have a measurable impact on one's thoughts, and also the motion of one's thoughts must have a measurable impact on one's deeds. So from the spirit going to the deeds physically, the impacts from that direction must be very obvious. The same thing happens in the experiences, the external experiences of the human personality in deeds. These deeds must have a remarkable impact on one's thoughts, just like you have in the case of death. That sets the person that sets the person thinking. And subsequently, such thoughts have an impact on one's intuition, because the separation which has occurred is felt. And because the spirit has not been active, it fills the gap. And because it hasn't built up strong impression through activities, it is sad. That is one aspect. The case of music in the arts is also remarkable. Many a person listens to a piece of music which is so moving, listens to it. This piece of music has a strong impression on one's thoughts, which strong impression sometimes shakes it to its core. And that impression from the outside has an impact on one's spirit. The human personality holds such experiences for a long time, because such pieces of music helps it to open up, such that that gap which has been there vanishes, and he holds on to it in quiet times. So there are impressions which elicit joys and happiness, such as you have in music. And there are impressions which also elicit sorrows, sadness. The human personality must choose which way to go.
Thanks again, Gregory, for this answer, about our fears of death and how we are living in a, let's say, not experiencing deeply, and consciously what life really is. And then it is no surprise that we get a surprise when death is coming, or we are somehow in a shock, even though it's completely death is something to be expected, but somehow we are not accepting the reality as it is meant to be. We have our own, you could say, false or deluded wishes of how we would like it to be, for the way we would like it to be. and not accept the reality as it actually is. So these are the, I'm going to say, troubles that we have put ourselves in, self-made troubles, um, delusional troubles, which with delusional concepts and ideas, So it shouldn't be a surprise when you look at it deeply and properly. Why, why we're, how can I say, having these experiences. So thank you for that. Now, Gregory, this earth you said is temporal. So I'm wondering, Gregory, is earth's life is a test for us to prepare for the life in the beyond, which we said is more permanent? So is this what this life on earth is, to as a test or a preparation maybe for the life in the beyond?
One may say it's parts of a preparation because it is a continuity. A continuity in the sense that there are experiences which one needs to gather here on earth to know how to live a fruitful, useful life in accordance with the laws of nature on earth. That doesn't mean when the soul passes over, it's all done. It continues to experience, but then the experience is contained in the new environment that it has built for itself through its radiation. So there is continuity because the human spirit is eternal. However, only those who have cultivated their talents in accordance with the sense of the laws of creation through which it came into existence, only those who have developed their talents such that it is fruitful and they have become self-conscious, only those are permitted in accordance with these laws to exist and will continue to enjoy that which lies in creation for those who have worked hard intuitively with their spirit to become self-conscious. There are some who have neglected the development of their spirit. Those ones, because they have not considered that, they do not get to the threshold where they become self-conscious. But the struggle continues. The struggle continues because they remain in the world of matter, which is temporal. There comes a time when the world of matter needs to be refreshed, in which the contents in that particular part of the world of matter will undergo disintegration. And those human personalities who were unable or are unable to sever themselves consciously, self-consciously, because they still consider the world of matter as the greatest, they are caught into that net, into that trap. Because in all naturalness, the world of matter, when it gets to a certain extent, needs to disintegrate. Therefore, the personality which they have cultivated will also undergo disintegration, and the human form, which is peculiar to the spirit, which has been cultivated so far, that form will be lost. Therefore means the efforts that has been sown, the efforts, the opportunities that have been granted to the human personality or to the human spirit seed grain to realize its full potential. That opportunity or that set of opportunity has been done in vain. That spirit seed grain, which then undergo disintegration, will then rise up back to its origin as a spirit seed grain. Because then it has no personal identity, no personal responsibility. And that is what is referred to as spiritual death. And unconsciously, that is what sets many a personality worried, because they can't lay their hands on it when they see that a friend or someone they had known suddenly has gone. How that person has to give an account, they themselves are not sure. And just as it happened to that person, it might also happen to them. To forestall such, the walk in the light of truth, which walk tells, defines, describes, explains what light is, and also explains what truth is, and how both light and truth work together, and what the human personality needs to cultivate deep within it to be able to walk with the light and walk with the truth. That has been made bare in this walk in the light of truth. It is now left for the human personality, who is discerning, not only in deeds or in thought, but also in spirit, to make use of it in the shortest possible time before he or she is called away to give account of what it has made of the use of the opportunities that have been granted it since its inception.
Thanks a lot, Gregory, for this answer, and the deep, like I say, detailed picture you've shown us about true spiritual life, and what is actually spiritual death, the real death, you can call it, not this earthly death, which is only just a transition from the earth to the way beyond. As you say, we continue the experience of life is about experiencing, and we continue the experiencing after the earthly death in the beyond. So it's not the end, as people have been fearing. And now, Gregory, this we talked about experiencing. Now there's, let's say, religions and teachings who talk about life after death and other things as well. So, and even that, people in quotes, some people do believe in that, but it's what I'm trying to ask you really, Gregory, are these teachings really helpful? Or I mean, sometimes they even, if you look at different teachings, you will, again, in quotes, compare them, and you might find they don't agree somewhere. So it can be a bit of confusion there. So are these that's basically these spiritual teachings and so on. Even we have mentioned here the Grail Message, which is a spiritual teaching. So people might be wondering, oh, you are just having your theory, another person having, or other people having their theory, or whatever the word is, and it's just whichever one you prefer or you're attracted by, you follow that one. But that doesn't help in a way to answer what is really true and what is not true. And this is not about putting anything down, that is wrong and this is right. It's not about that, but it's for the sake of, let's say, having some surety that if you're looking, following one teaching or the other, there's some surety that this is right or wrong. So, Gregory, how can we? Are any spiritual teachings helpful in our understanding? And beyond that, how can you be sure about them?
It is a profound question you have put forward. One should start with the facts. The fact remains that in our communications, that is motion. Our everyday life, that is motion. The deeds, that is motion. Our thoughts, that is motion. Our intuition, that is motion. All that exists, whether it is perceptible to us using our five senses or not, that is in motion. Therefore, motion is a law in nature, in creation. The human personality must strive to convince itself, not believe, to convince itself that motion is a law in creation. Once it has, through its activities, which activity is also in motion, reached that stage, then it becomes a fact. It does not need any religion or philosophy to exhibit that fact, because he or she becomes convinced of it through its investigation, that motion is a law in creation. And therefore, anything that the human spirit must experience, which experience is also motion, must be considered under the framework of motion. With that, conviction arises because it becomes certain. One may then proceed to know that motion are basically of two types. The first type is that motion where the end of the motion flows back to the beginning. That type or that category may also be expressed as the law of reciprocal activity. Therefore, that is a fact. Which fact always existed. One may also say that the end flowing back to the beginning is more like an attraction, something which has been flung out and comes back to the beginning. Again, one may say only that resonates in its species. That is the attraction of homogeneity because it's of the same species. These are facts. These are the laws of creation, the laws of nature. No religion is required for that. It is common sense. No university education or high school education is required for that. All that is required is an acknowledgement of it in deeds through diligent observations, an acknowledgement of it in thoughts through diligent observations, and above all, an acknowledgement of it through diligence in its intuitions, to make use of it again and again as a fact. No high school or university is required for this because everyone goes through this every time, even in all they do. There is the other category where the end of the motion does not flow back to the beginning. In that case, the simple example one may envisage is expressed as one thing is heavier than the other. That is why it doesn't flow back to the beginning. In that particular scenario, many may refer to it as gravitation. Many expressions are used for this. So two basic scenarios, three laws of creation, where whoever is able to make use of this through diligent observation acquires personal conviction, which comes through ruthless investigation, not only in deeds, but also in thoughts and in one's intuition. Then he or she need not fear anything, because whoever has arrived at that is alive. Whatever they then encounter in their activities, they are able to interpret it in accordance with these laws of nature, which has just been described, or the laws of creation. These laws have an origin. They are personal. Therefore, any teaching which does not expressly and in its impression convey vividly the laws of motion hasn't started, because the laws of motion form the framework. Therefore, you may find in some teachings minuscule reference to it, while having their own impressions to show off. When the personality needs to examine rigorously the walk in the light of truth, it needs to keep within it these laws of motion, because it is the framework. With that, the human personality has found its way, as long as it allows the activities, the external activities, to resonate with his or her thoughts, and the thoughts to resonate with his or her intuitions. Then all else will be added to it. There needs no be any other thing to assist the human personality, because in striving to resonate, it will then discover the blessings which have been in place for it to use in accordance with the will that placed these blessings, in accordance with the love that placed these blessings in creation. Then it need not ask, through whom did these blessings come? Through whom did this love come, or the will? Filled with happiness, it will have liberated itself. Now the source of that expression, free at last, free at last. The rest you know.
Thanks very much, Gregory, for this answer about spiritual knowledge, seeking spiritual knowledge, and finding surety. And you've talked about facts and the laws, natural laws. So if we go by these laws, then we can definitely work things out to be true or not true. So please, dear listener, just to let you know, you're listening to Bless Radio, and this is the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail Message by Abrushin. If you wish to know more about the Grail Message or want to get a copy of the Grail Message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic that we are discussing tonight is, why are we really here? What are we really here for on earth? What are we really here for on earth? If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And there's one other way you can contact us, which is by going to the website where we are broadcasting. That is Bless Radio 1. That's the number one, .com. And there you can type in, if you scroll down on the homepage, you can find a box called Bless Chat. There you can type in any questions or comments. And as I've mentioned, we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number one.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, the number one again, space, live stream. That's for the live show, which is on Tuesday evenings, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. You can listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, space, Grail Message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is, what are we really here for on Earth? And of course, you can listen to the recording of our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio. That's the number one. Now, I'm hoping I will have better luck this time. I have another video or audio, I should say, for the listeners to play. We started at the beginning of the show with a video which was about a social media person talking about this Nigerian senator who had died suddenly at the age of 52, unexpectedly. Now, is a different story this time. You could say a similar one. This time I'm trying to do it in a different way, so I hope I will not have problems like I did the last time. This time, this is a story of a famous person. He lived in 1800s to 1900s. And his name is John Davison, or John D. Rockefeller. He was a famous American who built up, you could say, an oil sort of based empire and became very rich. In fact, the richest American in that time, and at quite a young age even. So this is his story given in this video, and I'm really hoping that we can hear it without any issues. So here we go.
Was the first billionaire the world has produced. He was once the richest man in the world. By age of 25, he controlled one of the largest oil refineries in America. By age 31, he had become the world's largest oil refiner. By age 38, he commanded 90% of oil refined in America. By the time of his retirement at age 58, he was the richest man in America. By the time he died, he had become the richest man in the world. As a young man, every decision, attitude, and relationship was tailored to create his personal power, wealth, and glory. Focus was always centered around him. By the age of 53, he became seriously ill. The world's only billionaire could buy anything he wanted, but he could not eat proper food. He could only digest milk and crackers. His highly experienced and proficient personal physicians predicted he would die within a year. That year passed agonizingly slow. As he approached death, he awoke one morning with a vague remembrance of a dream about not being able to take any of his success and wealth with him into the next world, wherever he would be. The man who could control the most powerful economy of America suddenly realized He was not in control of his own life. He was left with only one choice. He called his attorneys, accountants, and CEOs and announced that he wanted to channel his assets to hospitals, research, and charity work. On that day, John D. Rockefeller established the Rockefeller Foundation. The new charitable undertaking eventually led to many medical breakthroughs, even wiping out certain diseases. But perhaps the most amazing part of Rockefeller's story is that the moment he began to give back a portion of all that he earned, his body's chemistry was altered so significantly that his body started healing. At one time, it looked as if he would die at 53, but his health had a dramatic turnaround, and he spent next 40 years, that is until the age of 93, doing philanthropic work. Rockefeller learned the power of gratitude, charity, and gave back vast majority of his wealth. Doing so made him feel whole and deeply fulfilling. He began to participate in spiritual activities and continuously engaged in working for many humanitarian causes. His inner feeling opened the door for physical healing. When his mind changed from greed to gratitude, from selfish to selflessness, from egocentricity to universality, his entire body chemistry changed. The healing began. Now, folks, your thoughts and feelings powerfully influence your health. Medical research called psychoneuroimmunology, or P&I, reveals the impact of your thoughts and emotions on your immune function that determines whether or not you will be healthy and stay healthy. It is said that your body is the most powerful laboratory or pharmacy in the world. It has the ability to heal itself by producing its own chemicals. Your state of mind is the controller of it. Healing feelings such as gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, charity changes the chemistry of your body favorably. The ill feelings like selfishness, holding grudges, anger, grief, guilt, hatred, anxiety changes the chemistry of your body adversely. Giving and sharing is one of the most powerful healing feelings. All of us have something or the other we can share and be the cause of someone's happiness. It can be knowledge, time, labor, money, material blessings like clothing or food. Even psychological blessings like giving a genuine compliment or wishing well for the other people in your own mind. Remember, nobody ever became poor by giving and sharing.
Dear listeners, that was a video about John D. Rockefeller, about his life story, and it was presented by this man called M.K. Underjan. So he was analyzing his story there. Actually, John D. Rockefeller lived till 97, not 93. So I'm not quite sure where he got his facts from there. But in any case, it's an amazing story, and you can call it a transformation from a selfish nature to giving, and that completely changed his health. Gregory, I mean, it's so amazing. This person showed that you can really, how can I say, I don't know if I will use the word control your life, but you can determine the direction of your life through your, well, we said thoughts, decisions, actions, really. I mean, but even with the body, it's really a health, not just, how can I say, it's a, as he put it at the end, it's a rather than being selfish, he became selfless and becoming, I've forgotten the word he used, but becoming universal somehow, getting rather than, how can I say, very one-sided. So it's a really amazing story, Gregory. So is this really possible? Well, is it possible? It's possible. How can I say? Is everybody able in this, with this, we say we fulfill our potential, So do we all have this capability to determine the direction of our life in such a dramatic and maybe I shouldn't say dramatic, but in such a powerful way? Even he said the body, we can really restore health to the body.
The question each person must ask, and should have asked Mr. Rockefeller, did he give out of fear or out of love? What was the motive? That counts a lot.
Well, he produced a lot of good things. So if it was out of fear, he showed the results of the fear, and maybe he changed his fear into, he saw the positive results from the fear, and it was no more fear. It was, I mean, he lived a long life, which was not likely to be happen. I mean, of course, it was fear of death that made him, and also it was fear of losing his material possessions that he can't carry on living with. That may be the trigger initially, but in the end, he did mention about spiritual. He turned to spiritual practices. I mean, the motive. Who can say what is the motive unless you are able to see in his mind? In any situation, what can one say except the person closely? I would say it's a difficult. I mean, we are told from their actions you shall know them. So the actions show that he changed his attitude for sure. Whatever the attitude was before, it became a different attitude. So if you think it was still greed that was driving him or fear, I cannot say that. It doesn't look that way to me. So, because why would he, if he did that, he would not be helping others. So it seems a clear turn of direction from a selfish move to a I mean, this person calling it selfless. So, as I say, by their actions you shall know them. So for me, my assessment is that he did. He became, I don't say he was totally a spiritual person, but maybe he was slightly open to the spiritual side, because everybody's on a journey. So it's hard to make a determination if it's on one earth life they will change or many earth lives. Everybody's an individual. But my question really is not about that, Gregory. It's really about the power. I mean, you are questioning the motive, which is not what my question is here. My question is the power, and that's the story, what is in this story. So I'm pointing to that. I ask you to look at that one. What is it that he has demonstrated? Is it not the power that human beings have?
Okay. The power lies in the purity of the motive. Once it is pure enough, then it brings returns not only for the individual, brings blessings not only for the earthly deeds which are perceptible, it also in the thoughts and above all the intuitions. The response to your question is to prod many to reflect, such that in reflection, they themselves will become alive, rather than just taking what has been presented to them. The same thing we do in this forum, to prod the individual to reflect, to strive to sense the motive. That motive, the purity of which, when it resonates with the laws of creation, the blessings that come forth from it. So one is not talking about one's personal observation, but when each one reflects, that process alone opens many a door. So what you yourself read out, or what we had, becomes an instance which one can also use, and will ensure that that's which is pure, which should move the inner man. That is what counts.
Thank you. Thanks very much for that. Everything is a valid when we have a discussion. Each person's view is like they see it from their angle, and sure, that is a valid way of seeing something. And the best, of course, is to see the whole picture, if it's possible for anyone, to see as big a picture as possible. And the more you see the bigger picture, the more, let's say, clarity you will have and understanding you will get. As we say always, Gregory, you always say, all for one and one for all. That is where you find example of that, then you can see you're heading in the right direction there. So thank you. Yeah. So listeners, we've come to the end of our show tonight on the topic of what are we really here for on earth? And I hope you've enjoyed the discussion and the, conversations that we've had about this. I must say the videos were very, let's say, provoking and prompting to investigate, this topic. Now, I would like to end with a reading from the Grail Message, which is again the foreword to the Grail Message, and it is titled, For Your Guidance. The bandage falls, and belief becomes conviction. Liberation and redemption lie only in conviction. I am addressing earnest seekers only. They must be able and willing to examine this matter objectively. Religious fanatics and irresponsible enthusiasts may hold aloof, for they are detrimental to the truth. As for the malevolent and prejudiced, they shall find their sentence in the very words. The message will strike only those who still carry within them a spark of truth and the yearning to be true human beings. To all such, it will become the shining light and staff. It will lead them unswervingly out of all the chaos of the present-day confusion. The following word does not bring a new religion, but is intended as the torch to help all serious listeners or readers find the right path, which leads them to the longed-for height. Only he who bestirs himself can advance spiritually. The fool who uses extraneous aids for this, in the form of ready-made opinions of others, only walks his path as if on crutches, while ignoring his own healthy limbs. But the moment he boldly uses all the abilities which lie dormant within him, awaiting his call to help in his ascent, he is employing the talent entrusted to him in accordance with his Creator's will, and will easily overcome all the obstacles that seek to divert him. Therefore awake. Genuine faith lies only in conviction, and conviction comes solely through an inflexible weighing and examining. See that you are truly alive in the wonderful creation of your God, Abrushin. So, dear listeners, if you wish to know more about the Grail Message or want to get a copy of the Grail Message for yourself, you can go to the website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE, Gregory, anything you'd like to say to the listeners to say goodbye?
Wishing every listener a beautiful week. Enjoy it before it changes.
Thank you. Very good. Yes, listeners, same from me. Have a great week, and we'll be back next Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time, with another topic. Take care, good night, and God bless.